Hey everybody, welcome to the channel. I'm your host, well, you know who I am. Today we're doing something a little different. We're going on a virtual road trip across the good old US of A. That's right, we're ditching the studio audience, no more Guillermo, just me, you, and a whole lot of incredible destinations. We're talking breathtaking beaches, bustling cities, and everything in between. We're talking about the kind of places that make you want to throw on your comfiest sweatpants, grab a giant bag of Funyuns, and just soak it all in. So whether you're a seasoned traveler or just looking for some vacation inspiration, get ready to explore the top 10 must-visit places in the USA. Trust me, by the end of this, you'll be ready to pack your bags, grab your selfie stick, and explore all the amazing things this country has to offer. And hey, if you see me out on the road, honk twice if you've got my tequila. Let's hit it. First up, we're heading down south to the Sunshine State, baby. Miami, Florida, where the sun's always shining, the beaches are always packed, and the nightlife is always, well, let's just say it's always lively. We're talking miles and miles of white sand beaches, turquoise water, and enough beautiful people to make you consider investing in a gym membership. But Miami's not just about looks, folks. This city has a pulse, a rhythm, a beat that's all its own. It's a melting pot of cultures, a vibrant mix of Latin American flavor, Art Deco architecture, and enough energy to power a small country. So, slap on some sunscreen, grab a mojito, and get ready to experience the magic of Miami. Now, you can't talk about Miami without talking about Little Havana, the heart and soul of the city's Cuban community. This place is like stepping into another world, with its cigar shops, domino games, and the aroma of Cuban coffee wafting through the air. And speaking of coffee, make sure you grab a cafecito cubano while you're there. It's a shot of espresso that'll jumpstart your day faster than you can say Guantanamera. Just don't blame me if you can't sleep for a week. But Miami's not all about mojitos and cafecitos. If you're looking for a taste of the high life, head over to South Beach. This is where the beautiful people come to see and be seen. And trust me, there's no shortage of eye candy here. Speaking of South Beach, you can't miss the Art Deco Historic District. It's like stepping back in time to the 1930s with its pastel-colored buildings, geometric designs, and enough neon lights to make a flamingo blush. Take a stroll down Ocean Drive, the heart of the Art Deco district, and soak in the vibrant atmosphere. You'll find everything from sidewalk cafes and trendy boutiques to some of the hottest nightclubs in the city. Just remember, what happens in Miami stays in Miami, unless it ends up on TMZ. And hey, if you're feeling adventurous, rent a convertible and cruise down A1A. The scenic coastal highway offers breathtaking views of the Atlantic Ocean and the Miami skyline. Just don't forget your sunglasses and your best Miami Vice impression. Now, if you're looking for a break from the beach and the nightlife, Miami's got you covered. Head over to the Everglades National Park, a vast and unique ecosystem that's home to alligators, crocodiles, and all sorts of other critters. Take an airboat tour and experience the thrill of gliding through the sawgrass at high speeds. Just watch out for those gators, they're always hungry. And hey, if you're feeling really brave, you can even hold a baby alligator. Don't worry, they're more afraid of you than you are of them. Probably. After your Everglades adventure, head back to the city and check out the Wynwood Walls. This outdoor art museum is a feast for the eyes with its colorful murals, street art, and graffiti art by artists from all over the world. It's the perfect place to snap some Instagram-worthy pics and soak in Miami's vibrant art scene. Next stop, beignets. All right, folks, buckle up because we're heading to the Big Easy, New Orleans, Louisiana. This city is a gumbo of culture, history, music, and some of the best food you'll ever eat in your life. We're talking about a place where jazz music spills out of every doorway, where the streets are paved with good times, and where you're guaranteed to have a story to tell. New Orleans is a city that knows how to party, and they do it in style. From Mardi Gras to Jazz Fest, there's always something to celebrate in this town. So grab a hurricane, throw on some beads, and get ready to let the good times roll. New Orleans is a city that will steal your heart, fill your belly, and leave you wanting more. So, put on your dancing shoes, grab your appetite, and get ready to experience the magic of the Big Easy. Now, you can't talk about New Orleans without talking about the food. And let me tell you, this city takes its food seriously. We're talking about po' boys piled high with fried seafood, jambalaya that'll make your taste buds sing, and beignets so light and fluffy they'll practically float away. First things first, you gotta start your day with a beignet and a café au lait from Café du Monde. This iconic coffee stand has been serving up these delicious treats since 1862, and trust me, they're worth the hype. And no trip to New Orleans is complete without a stroll down Bourbon Street. This iconic street is the heart of the French Quarter and is known for its live music, bars, and let's just say colorful characters. Just be prepared for a sensory overload, folks. Bourbon Street is not for the faint of heart. Speaking of the French Quarter, this historic neighborhood is like stepping back in time. With its cobblestone streets, wrought iron balconies, and colorful buildings, it's easy to see why the French Quarter is one of the most photographed neighborhoods in the country. Take a walk down Royal Street and browse the antique shops, art galleries, and voodoo shops. And don't forget to stop by Jackson Square, where you can get your portrait drawn by a local artist or listen to some of the best jazz musicians in the world. And hey, if you're feeling brave, take a ghost tour and learn about the city's haunted history. New Orleans is said to be one of the most haunted cities in America, and there are plenty of spooky stories to keep you entertained. Just don't blame me if you can't sleep after hearing about the ghost of Marie Laveau. Now, if you're looking for a change of pace from the hustle and bustle of the French Quarter, head over to the Garden District. This elegant neighborhood is known for its beautiful mansions, lush gardens, and charming boutiques. Take a stroll down St. Charles Avenue and admire the antebellum architecture, or hop on a streetcar for a leisurely ride through the neighborhood. And be sure to stop by Lafayette Cemetery No. 1, one of the oldest cemeteries in the city, and marvel at the elaborate above-ground tombs. And for a truly unique New Orleans experience, head out of the city and take a swamp tour. You'll get up close and personal with alligators, snakes, and all sorts of other critters. Just watch out for those gators. They're always hungry. All right, that's it for New Orleans. Next stop, Paradise. Aloha, everybody. Welcome to Hawaii, the place where everybody wishes they were right now. Seriously, have you ever met someone who went to Hawaii and was like, it was just okay? No way. Hawaii is like winning the lottery, but instead of money, you get stunning beaches, volcanoes that could blow at any minute, and more Mai Tais than you can shake a stick at. And speaking of beaches, have you ever seen water so blue and clear, you could probably find Nemo's cousins hanging out in there? And the sand? Don't even get me started on the sand. It's so soft and white, it's like walking on a giant powdered donut. I'm telling you, Hawaii is the real deal. But hold on, we're just getting started. Hawaii's not just about beaches, it's also about lush rainforests, towering waterfalls, and volcanoes that make you feel like you're on another planet. It's a nature lover's paradise, and trust me, even if you're not a nature lover, you're gonna love it here. So sit back, relax, and get ready to experience the magic of Hawaii. We're gonna swim with sea turtles, hike through jungles, and maybe even learn how to hula dance. Who knows, maybe I'll even get a tan. Stay tuned. All right, folks, buckle up because we're heading to the East Coast, to the city that never sleeps, the Big Apple, the concrete jungle, New York City. This is the place where dreams are made, where every street corner has a story, and where the energy is so palpable you can almost touch it. This place is a whirlwind of energy, a melting pot of cultures, and home to more pizza joints than you can shake a stick at. From the bustling street markets to the iconic pizza joints, every bite you take here is a taste of the city's rich, diverse heritage. We're talking about the city that has it all. Broadway shows that'll blow your mind, museums that could keep you busy for years, and enough street food to satisfy any craving you could possibly imagine. Whether you're a history buff, an art lover, or a foodie, New York City has something to offer you. Now I know what you're thinking. New York City, isn't that where everyone's always in a rush and they yell at you if you're walking too slow? Well, there's a bit of truth to that. The city moves at a breakneck pace and the locals have places to be and things to do. Well, yeah, there's a little bit of that. But that's just part of the charm. The hustle and bustle, the iconic yellow taxis zipping by, it's all part of the New York experience. But underneath that gruff exterior, New Yorkers are actually some of the most passionate, friendly, and helpful people you'll ever meet. They might be in a hurry, but they'll stop to give you directions or share a smile. So grab your walking shoes, your Metro card, and your appetite for adventure because we're about to dive headfirst into the heart of New York City. Get ready to explore the nooks and crannies, the hidden gems, and the iconic landmarks that make this city so special. From Times Square to Central Park, from Brooklyn to the Bronx, we're gonna see it all. Each borough has its own unique flavor and vibe, and we're going to experience the best of each one. All right, let's talk about Broadway, baby. Because when you're in New York City, you gotta catch a show. It's an essential part of the New York experience, a tradition that dates back over a century. Because when you're in New York City, you gotta catch a show. It's like a rite of passage, like trying a slice of New York pizza or hailing a cab in the rain. The magic of Broadway is something you have to experience to believe. It's like a rite of passage, like trying a slice of New York pizza or hailing a cab in the rain. The thrill of the lights dimming, the curtain rising, and the performers taking the stage is unparalleled. We're talking about the best singers, dancers, and actors in the world, all under one roof, putting on a show that'll knock your socks off. The talent here is second to none, and the performances are nothing short of spectacular. Whether you're into heart-wrenching dramas, side-splitting comedies, or those big, splashy musicals that make you want to get up and dance in the aisles, Broadway has something for everyone. There's a show for every taste and every mood, and the theaters themselves are like time capsules with ornate architecture and a sense of history that you just don't find anywhere else. Each theater has its own story, its own charm, and stepping inside is like stepping back in time. So even if you're not a theater buff, trust me, a Broadway show is an experience you won't want to miss. It's a quintessential New York experience that will leave you with memories to last a lifetime. But hey, if you're not into the whole theater scene, don't worry. There's so much more to see and do in this incredible city. Times Square is a spectacle in itself. It's the crossroads of the world, a place where the energy is electric and the lights never dim. It's like the heart of New York City, with giant billboards, flashing lights, and enough energy to power a small country. It's a sensory overload in the best possible way. Okay, we've been doing a lot of walking, a lot of eating, a lot of taking in the sights and sounds of the city that never sleeps. But there's still so much more to explore. So for this next stop, we're going to take a little break from the hustle and bustle and head to a place where you can actually hear the birds sing, Central Park. It's a breath of fresh air in the middle of the concrete jungle. That's right, smack dab in the middle of all those skyscrapers and concrete, you'll find this massive green oasis. It's a place where you can escape the noise and chaos of the city and find a moment of peace. It's like taking a deep breath of fresh air, a moment of peace and tranquility in the heart of the urban jungle. The park's winding paths, tranquil spots, and lush greenery offer a perfect respite. You can stroll through the park's winding paths, have a picnic by the lake, or just plop down on a bench and watch the world go by. It's a place to relax, recharge, and reconnect with nature. They even have rowboats you can rent for a romantic paddle around the pond. It's a charming way to spend an afternoon, and the views are simply stunning. And hey, if you're lucky, you might even spot a celebrity walking their dog. It happens. Central Park is a favorite spot for locals and visitors alike, including some famous faces. But Central Park is more than just a pretty face. It's a cultural hub, a place where the city's vibrant arts scene comes to life. It's also a hub for cultural events, concerts, and festivals throughout the year. From Shakespeare in the Park to summer stage concerts, there's always something happening. You might catch a Shakespeare in the Park performance, a free concert at the summer stage, or even the annual Halloween parade. The park is a stage for the city's creativity and community spirit. Alright folks, let's talk about the food, because no trip to New York City is complete without sinking your teeth into a real New York slice. The city's culinary scene is legendary, and the pizza is just the beginning. And I'm not talking about some fancy, artisanal, truffle-infused pizza with a gluten-free crust. I'm talking about the real deal, the kind of pizza that New Yorkers swear by. I'm talking about the classic, no-frills, New York-style pizza that's been fueling this city for generations. It's a taste of tradition, a slice of history. You know what I'm talking about, that thin, crispy crust, that tangy tomato sauce, that gooey mozzarella cheese, all cooked to perfection in a coal-fired oven. It's a symphony of flavors in every bite. It's the kind of pizza that you fold in half and eat on the go, the kind of pizza that'll make you want to slap your mama. Just kidding, don't slap your mama. It's a quintessential New York experience. And the best part is, you can find a great slice of pizza on practically every corner in New York City. The city's pizza culture is as diverse as its people. From the old-school pizzerias that have been around for decades to the newer spots that are putting their own spin on the classic, there's a slice out there for everyone. Each pizzeria has its own unique take on the beloved New York slice. But hey, pizza is just the tip of the iceberg when it comes to New York City's food scene. The city is a culinary playground with flavors from every corner of the globe. We're talking about everything from hot dogs and bagels to pastrami on rye and cheesecake. Each bite is a journey through the city's rich culinary heritage. This city is a culinary melting pot, and you'd need a lifetime to try it all. From street vendors to fine dining, New York City's food scene is a feast for the senses. Well, hello there, sunshine. Welcome to the land where the sun always seems to shine a little brighter. We're halfway through our list, and it's time to head west to the Golden State, California, a place where dreams are made and adventures await at every corner. Land of Hollywood dreams, surfing legends, and more avocado toast than you can shake a stick at. It's a place where the extraordinary becomes the everyday. We're talking about a state that has it all, from sunny beaches and towering redwood forests to bustling cities and charming small towns. It's a place where you can find both tranquility and excitement. Whether you're looking to soak up the sun, hit the slopes, or explore wine country, California has something for everyone. It's a state that caters to every kind of traveler. Now, I know what you're thinking. California, isn't that where everyone's walking around in yoga pants, talking about their chakras and their latest juice cleanse? Well, yeah, there's a little bit of that, but there's so much more to this vibrant state. But California is also a state with a rich history, a diverse culture, and a whole lot of heart. It's a melting pot of traditions and innovations. So grab your sunscreen, your surfboard, and your sense of adventure, because we're about to embark on an epic road trip through the Golden State. Get ready for a journey like no other. From San Francisco to Los Angeles, from Yosemite to Death Valley, we're gonna see it all. Each destination offering its own unique slice of California magic. All right, folks. We've arrived in the entertainment capital of the world, Hollywood, the place where stars are born and legends are made, home to movie stars, red carpets, and more broken dreams than a failed reality show. It's a place where the glitz and glamour never seem to fade. We're talking about the place where dreams are made and broken, where you might just bump into Leonardo DiCaprio at the grocery store, or at least someone who looks a lot like him. It's a place where the extraordinary becomes the everyday. You can walk the walk of fame, try to spot your favorite celebrity's star, and maybe even sneak onto a studio lot for a behind-the-scenes glimpse of movie magic. It's a place where the magic of the movies comes to life. And hey, even if you're not a big movie buff, there's still plenty to see and do in Hollywood. From street performers to vibrant nightlife, there's something for everyone. You can check out the Griffith Observatory for stunning views of the city, hike to the Hollywood sign for that iconic Instagram shot, or just wander down Sunset Boulevard and soak up the atmosphere. It's a place where every corner has a story to tell. But listen, Hollywood is just one small part of the massive metropolis that is Los Angeles, a city that never sleeps and always has something new to offer. We're talking about a city with a beach for every mood, a food scene that'll blow your mind, and traffic that'll make you want to pull your hair out. Just kidding, don't pull your hair out. It's a place where every day is an adventure. Okay, we're heading up north now to the city by the bay, San Francisco, a city that's as iconic as it is unique. Home to the Golden Gate Bridge, those iconic Victorian houses, and more sourdough bread than you can shake a stick at. It's a place where history and modernity blend seamlessly. Now, San Francisco is a city that's known for its liberal politics, its fog-shrouded streets, and its unique charm. It's a place where every street has a story to tell. It's a city that embraces its quirks, celebrates its diversity, and always knows how to have a good time. From vibrant community events to a bustling nightlife, there's always something happening. You can ride a cable car up those steep hills, explore the winding streets of Chinatown, or catch a Giants game at Oracle Park. It's a place where tradition meets innovation. And hey, if you're feeling adventurous, you can even take a ferry out to Alcatraz Island, the former prison that's now a popular tourist destination. It's a place where history comes to life. But listen, San Francisco is more than just tourist attractions. It's a city with a soul. It's a city with a rich history, a thriving art scene, and a culinary landscape that'll tantalize your taste buds. From world-class museums to innovative art installations, there's always something to discover. All right, folks, buckle up because we're about to embark on one of the most scenic drives in the world, the Pacific Coast Highway. A journey that promises breathtaking views and unforgettable memories. This iconic road hugs the California coastline, offering breathtaking views of the Pacific Ocean, rugged cliffs, and charming seaside towns. It's a drive that will leave you in awe. We're talking about a drive that'll take you past towering redwood forests, secluded beaches, and quaint towns where you can grab a bite to eat, browse local shops, and maybe even spot a whale or two. It's a journey that promises adventure at every turn. You can start your journey in San Francisco and head south, or begin in Los Angeles and head north. Either way, you're in for a treat. Either way, you're in for a treat. The Pacific Coast Highway is a road that promises adventure and beauty at every turn. Make sure you stop at Bixby Bridge for that iconic photo op, and don't miss the chance to explore the charming town of Carmel by the Sea. It's a place where every moment is picture perfect. And hey, if you're feeling adventurous, you can even rent a convertible and cruise down the highway with the top down, feeling the wind in your hair and the sun on your face. It's a drive that promises freedom and exhilaration. Just try not to get too distracted by the scenery and drive off a cliff. It's a journey that promises to be as thrilling as it is beautiful. Chapter 7, Washington, D.C. All right, folks, we're headed to the capital of the free world, Washington, D.C. A city that's not just the heart of American politics, but also a treasure trove of history, culture, and some pretty quirky facts. Land of monuments, museums, and enough political drama to make a Kardashian blush. Seriously, if walls could talk, the ones here would have their own reality show. And where better to start than the most famous address in America, 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue, the White House. This iconic building is not just a residence, but a symbol of American leadership and history. You know, it's funny, they call it a house, but it's got 135 rooms, 35 bathrooms, and a bowling alley. It's like a mini city within itself. I mean, who needs that many bathrooms? Maybe they have a bathroom for every mood or occasion. Are they running a germaphobe convention in there? Or maybe it's just a really elaborate way to avoid awkward encounters. I bet even the ghost of Abraham Lincoln is like, guys, this is excessive, even for a president. Imagine him floating around shaking his head in disbelief. But hey, it's not all about the amenities. The White House is a living museum, a place where history is made every day. This place is steeped in history, folks. From the Oval Office to the Rose Garden, every corner has a story to tell. Every president, except for George Washington, has called this place home. It's like the ultimate Airbnb, but with a lot more responsibility. Imagine the stories those walls could tell. From secret meetings to state dinners, the White House has seen it all. I bet they've seen more awkward handshakes and forced smiles than a Hollywood after-party. And let's not forget the countless photo ops. And speaking of awkward, can you imagine living there? With all those eyes on you, it's like being in a fishbowl. I mean, I can't even keep my houseplants alive, and they want me to be in charge of nuclear launch codes? That's a level of responsibility I'm not ready for. No thanks. I'm sticking to my monologue jokes and late-night shenanigans. Much safer and way less pressure. Now, let's move on from the president's digs to some of the most iconic landmarks in the country. These are the places that make you feel proud to be an American. We're talking towering monuments, awe-inspiring memorials, the kind of stuff that makes you feel all patriotic and stuff. It's like stepping into a history book. First up, the Washington Monument. This towering structure is a tribute to the first president and a symbol of the nation's enduring spirit. This 555-foot obelisk is like a giant middle finger to the sky, but in a good way, you know? It's a beacon of freedom and democracy. It's a testament to the guy who couldn't tell a lie, although I bet even he'd have a hard time explaining the line for the elevator on a busy day. Patience is definitely a virtue here. And let's not forget the Lincoln Memorial, where Honest Abe sits like a boss, judging tourists for taking selfies with his statue. It's a place of reflection and inspiration. It's a powerful reminder of our nation's history and the fight for equality. The speeches and events that have taken place here are etched in the annals of history. Plus, it's a great place to practice your best presidential pose. Just don't forget to look serious and contemplative. But seriously, folks, DC is packed with these incredible monuments and memorials, each one telling a piece of American history. It's like a living museum. It's like walking through a giant open-air history book, except you don't have to worry about getting called out for doodling in the margins. Every step you take is a journey through time. All right, time for a little culture, folks. And trust me, DC has it in spades. And no, I'm not talking about yogurt, although a good yogurt can be quite cultured. I'm talking about the Smithsonian Museums, a collection of 19 museums, galleries, and a zoo, all free of charge. That's right, free. Take notes, Disneyland, free. It's a cultural feast for the senses. You've got everything from the Air and Space Museum, where you can pretend to be an astronaut and avoid eye contact with your kids, to exhibits that make you dream of the stars, to the National Museum of Natural History, home to the Hope Diamond and more dinosaur bones than a Jurassic Park film festival. It's a place where science and wonder collide. And if you're feeling really adventurous, you can check out the National Museum of American History, where the past comes alive, where you can see Dorothy's ruby slippers from The Wizard of Oz and ponder the mysteries of the universe, like why anyone thought bell-bottoms were a good idea. Fashion is truly a mystery. Seriously, you could spend a week at the Smithsonian and still not see everything. It's a treasure trove of knowledge and discovery. It's like a buffet for your brain, only you won't leave feeling bloated and ashamed of yourself. Instead, you'll feel enriched and enlightened. Well, maybe a little ashamed if you get caught taking a nap in the dinosaur hall. But hey, even the best of us need a break. Okay, after all that history and culture, you're probably starving, right? Exploring can really work up an appetite. Well, good news, because we're headed to Georgetown, one of D.C. quote, as most charming and historic neighborhoods. It's a place where history meets modern-day charm. This place is a foodie's paradise, with everything from cozy cafes to upscale restaurants. Whether you're in the mood for a quick bite or a gourmet meal, Georgetown has it all. You can grab a Georgetown cupcake, trust me, the line is worth it, or indulge in a fancy meal that costs more than your car payment. It's a culinary adventure. But Georgetown isn't just about food, it's a vibrant community with a rich history and a lively atmosphere. It's also a shopper's dream with designer boutiques, quirky vintage stores, and enough bookstores to satisfy even the biggest bookworm. It's a place where you can find unique treasures. So after a long day of exploring the nation's capital, take a stroll down M Street, a bustling thoroughfare filled with shops, restaurants, and historic sites. Grab a bite to eat and soak up the atmosphere. It's the perfect way to end your day in D.C. Just try not to trip over a politician on his way to a clandestine meeting. They're everywhere, blending in with the crowd. It happens more often than you'd think. But hey, that's part of the charm of Washington, D.C. So whether you're here for the history, the culture, or just the cupcakes, Washington, D.C. has something for everyone. It's a city that never ceases to amaze. And who knows, you might even run into a politician or two. Just remember to smile and wave. Chapter 8, Colorado. Hold on to your hats, folks, because we're heading west to the great state of Colorado. Land of breathtaking mountains, craft breweries, and enough outdoor activities to make a nature lover spontaneously combust with joy. And speaking of breathtaking mountains, let's kick things off at Rocky Mountain National Park, a nature lover's paradise with more stunning scenery than an Instagram influencer's feed. We're talking towering peaks, alpine meadows bursting with wildflowers, and crystal clear lakes that'll make you want to ditch your phone and embrace the great outdoors. Just watch out for bears. They love Instagram influencers, especially the ones holding granola bars. You can hike, bike, camp, fish, or just sit by a lake and contemplate the meaning of life. And if you're lucky, you might even spot a moose or elk. Just try not to get too close. They're bigger than they look in the pictures, and they don't appreciate selfies. All right, from the majestic mountains to the mile-high city, we're headed to Denver, a vibrant metropolis with a laid-back vibe and more craft breweries than you can shake a hop cone at. Seriously, folks, Denver takes its beer seriously. They even have a festival dedicated to it, the Great American Beer Festival, where you can sample over 4,000 different beers. That's enough to make even the most seasoned beer drinker say, "Uncle." But Denver's not just about beer. It's also a cultural hub, with world-class museums, art galleries, and a thriving music scene. Check out the Denver Art Museum, catch a show at Red Rocks Amphitheater, or just wander around the historic Larimer Square. And if you're feeling adventurous, you can always rent a bike and explore the city's extensive network of bike paths. Just watch out for those craft brewery tours. You don't want to be that guy on a bike with a belly full of beer. Next up, we're traveling back in time to Mesa Verde National Park, home to the ancestral Pueblo and cliff dwellings, one of the most well-preserved archaeological sites in the United States. Imagine, folks, an entire civilization carved into the sides of cliffs over 700 years ago. It's like something out of an Indiana Jones movie, only without the snakes and the creepy crawlies. Well, maybe a few creepy crawlies. You can take a guided tour of the dwellings, learn about the fascinating history of the ancestral Puebloans, and marvel at their ingenuity. I mean, can you imagine building a house into the side of a cliff? I can barely assemble an IKEA bookshelf without having a meltdown. So put on your explorer hat, grab your camera, and prepare to be amazed by the wonders of Mesa Verde. Just try not to knock over any ancient artifacts. They tend to frown on that sort of thing. All right, folks, hold on to your butts because we're heading to Black Canyon of the Gunnison National Park, a place so dramatic, so awe-inspiring, it'll make you question the very fabric of reality. We're talking sheer vertical cliffs that plunge thousands of feet into the Gunnison River below. It's like staring into the abyss, only the abyss is filled with stunning views and the occasional rock climber who's lost their mind. You can hike along the rim, peer over the edge if you dare, or even go rock climbing if you're feeling particularly adventurous. Just make sure you pack a good pair of hiking boots and a healthy dose of courage. And if you're really lucky, you might even spot a golden eagle soaring overhead. Just try not to get too close. They're not as impressed with drones as you might think. Chapter 9, Texas. Howdy partners, and welcome to Texas, the Lone Star State. Land of big hair, big stakes, and even bigger personalities. And speaking of big personalities, let's mosey on over to San Antonio and pay a visit to the Alamo, the most famous mission in Texas. Now, you might be thinking, Jimmy, it's just an old mission. What's the big deal? Well, let me tell you, this ain't just any old mission. This is the Alamo, the site of one of the most pivotal battles in Texas history. Back in 1836, a small band of Texan soldiers, including the legendary Davy Crockett and Jim Bowie, held off thousands of Mexican troops for 13 glorious days. They fought bravely, they fought hard, and they made history. And sure, they might have lost the battle, but their sacrifice inspired the Texan army to eventually defeat the Mexicans and win their independence. So, next time you're in San Antonio, be sure to stop by the Alamo and pay your respects to these brave souls. All right, folks, after all that history, let's take a load off and head over to the San Antonio River Walk, a charming network of walkways and canals that wind their way through the heart of the city. It's like a little slice of Venice, Texas, only with fewer gondolas and more margaritas. And speaking of margaritas, the Riverwalk is lined with restaurants, bars, and shops, so you can eat, drink, and be merry to your heart's content. You can take a leisurely stroll along the river, hop on a river taxi, or just find a shady spot and watch the world go by. And if you're feeling romantic, you can even take a horse-drawn carriage ride. Just try not to get too lovey-dovey. This is a family-friendly show after all. So grab a drink, soak up the atmosphere, and enjoy the unique charm of the San Antonio River Walk. Just try not to fall in the river after one too many margaritas. All right, Space Cadets, buckle up because we're blasting off to Space Center Houston, the official visitor center of NASA's Johnson Space Center. This is where the magic happens, folks. This is where they train astronauts, build rockets, and send people into space. It's like Disneyland for science nerds, only instead of meeting Mickey Mouse, you can meet a real-life astronaut. You can explore a replica space shuttle, touch a moon rock, and even experience what it's like to walk on the moon in a virtual reality simulator. And if you're lucky, you might even catch a glimpse of a rocket launch. Just try not to get too starstruck. So, put on your astronaut suit, grab your space helmet, and prepare for an out-of-this-world experience at Space Center Houston. Just try not to ask too many questions about aliens. They're a little sensitive about that topic. All right, folks, we're wrapping up our Texas adventure in the live music capital of the world, Austin. This city's got it all: great music, delicious food, and more hipster beards than a lumberjack convention. You can catch a live show at one of the city's countless music venues, from the legendary Continental Club to the iconic Stubbs BBQ. And speaking of BBQ, Austin is a meat lover's paradise, with brisket so tender it'll make you weep tears of joy. But Austin's not just about music and meat, it's also a hub for technology and innovation, with companies like Apple, Google, and Facebook all setting up shop in the city. So whether you're a music lover, a foodie, or a tech enthusiast, Austin's got something for everyone. Just try not to get too caught up in the city's "Keep Austin Weird" mantra. We don't want you doing anything too crazy. Hey folks, welcome back to Discover the USA. We're on our penultimate stop, and let me tell you, this one's got soul. We're talking about Tennessee, folks, the home of blues, barbecue, and beautiful scenery. Tennessee is a state that's full of surprises. You've got these rolling hills, gorgeous mountains, and then bam! You stumble upon a honky-tonk bar with a guy playing a mean banjo. It's that kind of charming contrast that makes Tennessee so special. So buckle up, because we're about to dive into the heart and soul of America. We're talking about Graceland, Dollywood, and enough music history to make your head spin. And hey, if you're a fan of whiskey, well, you're in for a real treat. Stay tuned. First things first, you can't talk about Tennessee without mentioning Nashville, the country music capital of the world. This city is a whirlwind of music, history, and good old Southern hospitality. We're talking about the Grand Ole Opry, folks, the Ryman Auditorium, the Country Music Hall of Fame. It's like walking through a country music encyclopedia. And hey, even if you're not a die-hard country fan, you gotta appreciate the energy and passion that oozes from every street corner in Nashville. And the food? Don't even get me started on the food. Hot chicken, anyone? It's spicy, it's crispy, and it'll make you want to slap your mama. In a good way, of course. Trust me, you'll be licking your fingers and begging for more. But hey, Tennessee isn't just about the music. If you're looking for some fresh air and breathtaking views, then you gotta head east to the Great Smoky Mountains National Park. We're talking about misty mountains, cascading waterfalls, and forests so lush and green, you'd think you were in a fairy tale. You can hike, bike, camp, or just take a scenic drive and soak in all that natural beauty. And let me tell you, there's nothing quite like waking up to the sound of birds chirping and the smell of pine needles in the air. It's enough to make you forget all about the stress of city life. Now I know what you're thinking. Jimmy, is there anything else to do in Tennessee besides music and mountains? And the answer, my friends, is a resounding yes. You've got Memphis, the home of Elvis Presley's Graceland. You've got Dollywood, Dolly Parton's theme park that's fun for the whole family. And let's not forget about the Jack Daniel's Distillery, where you can learn all about the history of Tennessee whiskey. Tennessee is a state that's got it all: music, history, nature, and enough Southern charm to melt your heart. So what are you waiting for? Pack your bags, grab your banjo, optional, and get ready for one heck of a good time. Well, folks, we've reached the end of our whirlwind tour across the USA. And let me tell you, we've saved the best for last. We're talking about Seattle, Washington, the Emerald City, a place where the coffee is strong, the rain is legendary, and the scenery will take your breath away. Seattle is a city that's got it all: stunning natural beauty, a thriving arts and culture scene, and enough coffee shops to keep you caffeinated for, well, probably the rest of your life. But hey, who's complaining? So, grab your umbrella, put on your walking shoes, and get ready to explore this Pacific Northwest gem. We're talking about Pike Place Market, the Space Needle, and enough grunge music history to make your head spin. Now, no trip to Seattle is complete without a visit to Pike Place Market. This place is a feast for the senses, with colorful flowers, fresh seafood, and street performers galore. You can watch the fishmongers throw salmon, sample some local cheeses, and maybe even find a souvenir or two. And hey, if you're lucky, you might even catch a glimpse of Rachel Ray trying to film a cooking segment without getting mobbed by fans. And speaking of food, Seattle is a foodie's paradise. From fresh seafood to farm-to-table cuisine, this city knows how to satisfy your taste buds. And of course, no trip to Seattle is complete without a cup of coffee from one of the city's many independent coffee shops. Of course, you can't talk about Seattle without mentioning the iconic Space Needle. This futuristic tower offers breathtaking views of the city, the Puget Sound, and the surrounding mountains. It's like something straight out of a science fiction movie, only it's real, and you can actually go inside and take an elevator to the top. And hey, if you're feeling really adventurous, you can even try the Space Needle's revolving restaurant, where you can enjoy a meal with a 360-degree view. Just try not to get dizzy and spill your chowder all over the tourists at the next table. But Seattle is more than just its iconic landmarks. This city is also a hub for music lovers with a rich history of grunge and alternative rock. You can visit the Museum of Pop Culture, Mopop, check out a show at the Crocodile, where Nirvana once played, or just wander around and soak up the city's vibrant music scene. And hey, if you're looking to escape the city for a bit, Seattle is surrounded by natural beauty. You can take a ferry to Bainbridge Island, hike through Discovery Park, or just relax and enjoy the view. So there you have it, folks. Seattle, Washington, a city that's as beautiful as it is quirky, as exciting as it is laid back. Well, folks, that's a wrap on our cross-country adventure. We've seen some amazing sights, met some incredible people, and eaten our weight in regional delicacies. From the sunny beaches of Miami to the rainy streets of Seattle, the USA is a land of diversity, beauty, and endless possibilities. And hey, if you're looking for more travel inspiration, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe to our channel. We've got a whole lot more adventures up our sleeves, and we can't wait to share them with you. Until next time, keep exploring, keep dreaming, and keep on keeping on. See ya.